and welcome. My name is Matilda. I am the co-owner of Alam Yoga and Wellness located in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. So today's sequence will be just a short one for stretching the shoulders, the upper back, a little bit also for the neck, and activating our core as well, because the core is so important for our back health. And if you've never hurt your back before, then you wouldn't know how much our back helps us in our daily life from the moment we wake up in the morning until we go to bed at night. So, the essentials. But of course, because everything is connected, you'll get a little bit of everything too. Stretches here and there, the middle of the back, the legs, and things like that. So let's get started. Starting on your mat. And my goal is also to just not to get you guys to buy props, but to use whatever you already have at home, because I realize that not everybody can afford to buy blocks, straps, the bolsters that we have, and things like that. So just being creative with what you already have, because you can really use everything and anything to your advantage to help you. Let's get started. We're going to lie on our back. And just noticing the curve of your spine. So notice how your back is not completely straight. So to lie on our back completely like this is actually not natural for the spine, especially if you have low back issue and if you've hurt your back in the past. So it's best to cross the legs or the ankles, and then notice how there's a little bit of a gap there. That helps to promote the natural curve of your spine. And just breathe deeply. In my classes, I always remind people to hug your ribs in, hug your ribs in, and a lot of you have asked, what do you mean, hug our ribs in? How does it feel? So, just bringing your legs so the shin is parallel to the ground and your thighs are perpendicular to the mat. And then just bringing your hands to lightly rest on your thighs. Just notice what's happening in your back right now. So there's a little bit of a curve as you're trying to keep this up. And then notice how as soon as you start to activate the hands, pushing the thigh up, this automatically hugs in. Your rib cage automatically hugs in, and then this area is being activated. Let's try this again. So that's the feeling that you want to get here. The activation and the feeling that your low back is completely protected. It's like encased. So by doing this simple, easy, gentle movement alone, you help to activate this area here, this band here. So you don't need to do much work, especially if you don't have time, you have children to feed, you have work. And notice how your body temperature starts rising. That's the kind of heat that we want, internal. All right, and to release the tension, just hug your knees in, rocking from side to side. And then we're going to do leg crunches. So instead of doing sit-ups, which can really injure your low back, we're going to do the legs instead. So because I'm very careful with my low back, I like to stick half of my hands in underneath my hips, activate my core, hug my ribs in. Inhaling my knees towards my chest, and as I exhale, stretching the legs out as one unit. Inhale in, exhale out. Really activating your core. So you can do however many that you can do. Don't be too ambitious and start doing too much in the beginning. Meet your edge, don't jump over the edge. And then hug your ribs in again, rock the tension out. And in our restorative classes, we always work on the low back, and also when you get up and out, always roll to one side to get up. Before we move on to the more restorative poses, we'll do another core strengthening. So pay attention, if you have low back issues, it may help for you to put something behind your back, just for more support. Like this, we're going to come to Navasana, boat pose. So start with this, activate your core, and this is intense enough for you already, then just stay here. And then maybe next time you can try lifting your feet off the mat, activating your core, or then maybe bringing your legs higher. And maybe letting go. And maybe, only if appropriate for you. So it's okay to stay here too. Do what's right for your body. And wherever you are is wherever you are. Love and accept yourself wherever you are. And just release. Seated cat-cow is perfect for this. Inhale, stick your chest and your chin forward. Exhale, rounding your spine. Ujjayi breath. And we're going to lie down on our back. So you can just use a rolled up towel or blanket. I have a Mexican blanket here. So I'm just going to roll this tightly. And then bring this between my shoulder blades. So how you come into the pose and how you come out of the pose is very important. Slow and mindful. Breathing deeply, sending your breath towards the upper part of the body. And if you'd like to add a hip opener to this as well, you can bring your feet together and open the hips. If your hips are a little bit tight but you still want to work on them, you can prop more blankets and pillows underneath your knees. So do this for at least 4 to 10 minutes. When you first start, maybe just keeping it to 1 to 2 minutes, because it can get quite intense. And then to come out of this pose, if you have your Hips open, bring your knees together, maybe swaying them from side to side to release all tension. And then there are two ways to come out of this pose. Either propping your elbows down and slowly coming up, or rolling over to one side and slowly come out. So we don't want any sudden jerky movements. Let's put that aside. So another pose that's perfect for the shoulders and also the low back. So try this when your back is tight. So we're going to come to tabletop. Align your wrists with your shoulders and your knees with your hips. Just take a quick glance, make sure you're aligned. Then we're going to stretch the right leg out. Make sure your knees pointing the same direction as your toes. And we're going to inhale, bring the right arm up. Adding a gentle back bend, chest open. Exhale, thread to the opposite side. Breathing deeply. In our society, we have children that have back issues already. Shoulder pain, they start slouching down already. So there's going to be a lot of problems if we keep up the way we live and passing it on to our children. The amount of technology we use, we're always looking down. So do maybe 10 breaths, or maybe you start with 5, do whatever feels right in that moment. And then repeat on the other side. Maybe noticing a difference between the left and the right side. This is also a good warm-up for wheel, any back bends. And again, do 5 to 10 full breaths, deep breath. And then come to child's pose. So child's pose, just bring your knees to the edge of the mat, big toes touch. And then shift your hips down and stretching the spine. Don't worry if you don't get your hips all the way down. And if your shoulders are tired, you can always bring your hands towards your feet. And then to come out of the pose, come out slowly, mindfully. There you go. I hope that you can fit 1 or 2 of those poses into your daily life, 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all you need to start. And as you start to feel the benefits and start to feel better, that'll allow you to do more. And just some quiet, silent time for yourself. It's very important to set time aside for yourself, for your sanity, because if you go crazy, if you lose it, then you're no help to anybody else, especially your loved ones. So it is very important to prioritize your well-being. Remember, as you extend kindness and love towards others, it is most important to extend them first to ourselves. So with this,